Call Mark Unigan. Test 1. I got nothing. Test 1. Can you hear me? Because I've got nothing. Yes. Test 1. I got nothing. Just can't get the mic to work. Hold on. That's gonna be test 1. Thank you. Test 1. I got nothing, Mark. Bear with us, folks. We're just trying to get the mic working. Is there anything out here that could be turned off? No. Run and call me. Yeah. Hey, it's Mark from the people. Good. Running into an issue. We had music playing and everything. Just changed the batteries in the microphone, and I see it on the mixer. Sounds coming in through the microphone and everything like that. But I have no microphone over the speakers. Yeah, like on the iPad, I see the green yellow lines bumping up and down. Yeah, it's not muted or solo or anything like that. Correct. And I did check the batteries; they're in the right way. Okay, thank you much. the mixer because I came on the iPad. And it's not coming out. I said, no, it's okay. So he's calling for the sound engineer that was here. That's for us. Hey, it was. And we have a funeral now, so the music went off, and then we went to the microphone, and the microphone. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Would that be, no, the master is still up at like minus 24. Mm-hmm. Not the big orange switch on the,
Test one.
This one probably falls into the category of sheep were scared that they were, a lot of crap, but he helped us out Midwest somewhere. I shared this with
Here, let me give you this.
So he's going to this weightlifting competition. He has two vans that they had rented, passenger vans, full of these guys that are going to be doing the powerlifting. And they get to the hotel where they're going, and of course, the hotel has a parking deck, and as I'm sure most of you are aware, there's a bar that indicates what the height is that you can pull into the parking deck with. And if you pull in and your vehicle's too high, you're going to hit the bar. Well, Steve's in the first van, and not only do they hit the bar, they just keep going. And they peel the lid right off the top of the van. Now, I'll tell you what. This is not the sharpest pencil in the pack. But the guys that are following just kept following them. Now, that says something about Steve's leadership capabilities. It also says something about, the whole group. But Steve was a great guy. Miss him. What a wonderful man.
Who's next? See, get a microphone now, and everybody goes quiet. Yeah, go ahead, both of you.
So, I met CP 12 years ago. I moved here from Connecticut in 2014, and the first thing I needed to do was find a gym to work out in. And obviously, the first place I started is Planet Fitness. Obviously, I got kicked out because I'm a lunk, right? And so I Google gyms, and then I'm like, mental health. I'm like, all right, let me try this place out. So I walk in, and my first impression of CP, which I didn't know who he was, I walk into the gym and I say, I'm looking for a membership. And he came up to me and he was like, well, you need to talk to the owner, and he's not here. And I was like, okay. And then he turns to me, he goes, I'm CP. How the hell are you? And I'm like, very good. So with a long friendship, and when I first moved down here, he was my first friend. And I just have to say that looking around this room and seeing how many lives he's impacted, I think that if it weren't for him, I probably would have moved back, and I wouldn't have the career I have today if it wasn't for CP. So I really appreciate everything he's done for me and my family, and the impact that he had on me. So I thank him and his family, and no matter what, his legacy is always going to live with me. A couple years ago, he called me, and I was like, "Why is CP calling me?" And I answered the phone. I'm like, "Hey, CP, what's up?" He's like, "You want to buy my truck? I can't drive anymore." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "I don't need a truck, but," I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, "I can't see out of my eyes. They took my license away." I'm like, "All right, that's fine." I'm like, so I bought the truck from him. And I put so much money into that truck because of how much he's meant to me, and no matter what happens, that truck is going to run for the rest of its life. And I don't care how much money I have to put into that thing, it's going to run for the rest of its life, for the rest of my life. I don't care. But I mean, at the end of the story is that he's meant so much to me, and he will always have such a big impact on my life.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brian. I'm one of Matt's good friends. Played football with Steve, had a crush on Alex. So, uh, needless to say, in high school, I spent a lot of time at the Pattison house. And one thing that every time I walked in was very consistent was CP was sitting on his lounge chair surrounded by his dogs. And when you go in CP's house, you have to shake CP's hand, which always confused me because he trained his dogs to attack anyone that comes close to him. But when you're a young boy, you suck it up, you put on a brave face, and you approach CP and you shake his hand, and whether you get bit or not, you say nice to see you, CP. But that's just the kind of respect that you showed CP, and he showed it to you in return. And whenever CP recognized you or talked to you, you felt special. He's a really special guy, and we're all going to really miss him.
Thank you, Brian. I'm also Brian. I went to school with Matt as well. Also had a crush on Alex. But the story I have about CP is more of a testament to the kind of father he was. I think it was Matt's senior year at Albright. Me, Alex, one of our friends, and our friend Chet went to go watch Matt play a football game, and CP was in the stands the whole time, cheering on Matt every single play, throwing his hands up, clapping. And what I noticed was every time CP would cheer for Matt, Alex would cheer for CP. So every time CP would clap or something, Alex would stand up and be like, "That's my dad, that's my dad." So it's just a testament to the kind of father that CP was. So thank you.
Anybody else? Oh, it helps. I'm seriously. It helps.
On behalf of the Steinbergs, it saddens me that I'm the only one here. Charles and Betty Jean, my parents, loved Dan, Sharon, and Stevie with all of their heart. And Nanny and Pop Pop, I mean, I learned all about family from my family. And from the bottom of my heart, I'm just really sad.
Anybody else? Okay, you good? Some good stories, you know.
I don't think anybody said anything about his eating habits. That was very nice of you all to hold back. I didn't hear anybody say 2 popsicles in 5 minutes. He called me up at work and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm working." He goes, "Man, smell that?" No, I don't smell that. What is it? He goes, "Well, I had like 6 scallops left over from last night, and I got a porterhouse, and I'm making some lunch." I go, "Come on, man, I'm working." He hang up. He goes, "I'm your brother." He hang up. 5 minutes later, he called me back and said, "Hey, where did you guys get this popsicle?" That's Stevie.
Anyone else? All right, you good? All right, I'll wrap it up here. A couple thoughts for you, just listening. You know, what's interesting is there's really 2 kind of funerals. One is the person dies, but it was expected. If they had cancer, it was long, drawn out, and you knew that the time was limited. And then there's those where it's sudden, and it just shocks the daylights out of you. And I think that's what part of what goes on here is the fact that there was a a sudden loss, was it? Is that accurate to say it that way? And obviously soon. And I think sometimes that's the way God does things, because the impact of CP is as great in his death as it was in his life. And that's obvious to see from obviously your stories. We could probably go on here for 3-4 hours if all of you would tell the story and what CP meant to each of you. And that's neat to see. So it leads you into this. It leads you to deal with grief. And grief will be your best friend, and grief will be your worst enemy. It reminds me of the being in Pennsylvania this time of year when the potholes start developing. And you know where they are, you know where to miss them, but every now and then you hit one. And every time you hit a pothole this year, just may it remind you of CP, because grief is this. Grief is the ability to recover from the shock that hit you when you heard that he's gone. And the reality, he's no longer here. That's grief. And you'll grieve, just so you know, you'll grieve for a lifetime. It never goes away. Softens? Yeah, sometimes. But in the right circumstance, in the right situation, you're going to find yourself 20 years down the road and you're going to start laughing because of something that you remember about the CP. Or you'll be 20 years down the road and something happens, you're going to find yourself crying because it reminds you of a story and it reminds you of CP. So grief's going to be your best friend. It's going to be your worst enemy. But you can't get away from it, because grief is the result of love. And the reason there's grief is because there was love there. And the deeper the love, the deeper the grief. And there's no way to escape it. There's no way to get around it. So from what I learned about CP, just take it head on and enjoy every moment of grief, because grief is the reminder. It's where CP lives on in you and through you. You also talk here today, as you talk about CP, I'm reminded of this, and I'll just say this to you. Love never dies, and grief never ends. Someone said it this way, said absence makes the heart grow fonder. Remember that? I think you'll find it true as you go on, as you wrestle with it. But love never dies. People die. But your love for CP never died, and it won't die. It'll stay there until you die, which we all will in time. So savor it. I think you'll find in those little things, the grief, the love, I think you'll find is where CP stays alive in your hearts and continues to live on, which creates this. The man has a legacy that's incredible, and you're it, all of you here. It's in the stories that you'll tell. It's in the truck that you drive. You're going to think about him every time you get behind that wheel. It's neat to see the impact that he had. He obviously was many things. A food connoisseur, a leader, a salesman, sold you a truck, and many other things. And I think for him, the weightlifting was a means to build relationships with those of you that participated with him. And for your kids, it's always hard to lose a dad. Nothing easy about that. It's for some reason, dads are stability and they're a rock in your life, and it's like that's gone now, and you can't get it back. But trust me, he will speak to you, and you will hear his voice all the time in those situations where, hey, what would Dad do? And it'll ring out loud and clear. So there's a lot of things here. There's grief, there's love here, there's legacy here. So we don't so much mourn that such men have died. We celebrate that such men have lived. And that's why we're here. So thank you for coming. I'm going to turn the service over to Jeff, the funeral director here at Suess-Gahman, and he'll give you instructions on what to do. Maybe. There you go. Your turn.